We're recording?
Yes.
Nice. All right. Welcome to the Daily Stoic Conversations.
Hello.
It's been a couple of days since we've done this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Today is May 8th, and the name of today's lesson is Good and Evil. Look at your choices.
Good and evil? Or evil?
And.
Okay.
Good and evil, question mark.
Good and evil.
Look at your choices.
Look at your choices.
Okay. Like, I will be able to see whether my choices are good or
like
evil.
do they point toward something good for you or bad
Or
or
evil.
something?
Okay.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's see if that's what they mean. Today, we are basing this off of a quote by Epictetus. He says, "Where is good? In our reasoned choices. Where is evil? In our reasoned choices. Where is that which is neither good nor evil? In the things outside of our own reasoned choice." Mm-hmm.
Or like that, or it's that which chooses the one way or the other way or something, like outside of outside of past the decision. You know what I mean?
Past
like,
your decision?
yeah, because something makes the decision to go this way or go that way, right? You have let's say you have two choices or something, right? So you would, no? I see confusion.
Well, no, keep explaining it. And we'll see if it circles back.
Sure. I lost what
You lost what you were going to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
Because I was trying to try to read you and I lost what I
Yeah, I was confused, but I was like going with you to see like, hey, how is this going to like tie, like where's this going to tie off into?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't remember where you were going with it? Okay, that's okay.
But if you read it again, maybe I'll remember.
Okay, you want me to?
We don't need to.
Because what I'm taking from this is like the angle of control again. Like he's saying, where is good in our reasoned choices? Where is evil in our reasoned choices? So he's saying good and evil is in our choice, like in the things that are within our control. I choose to see the world a certain way. I choose to do this. That's where good and evil is in, do I choose this thing or that thing? Mm-hmm. But then he says, where is that which is neither good nor evil? In the things outside of our own reasoned choice. So like the thing that is not good or evil is all the stuff outside of my control. He's talking about the
outside
control.
Outside of your control or outside of your choices?
Same thing. I think when he says reasoned choice, he's meaning the thing that I have control over. Like that there, it seems like that is synonymous, what he's talking about.
Yeah, that I'm not connecting with it that way, but, or something like it's hard for me to.
You see them as different?
Like connecting what you're saying, or like how you're explaining it or something.
You don't get what I'm saying?
I kind of get what you're saying, but not fully, no. You're saying they're outside of our choices, so we don't have control over them.
He's saying good and evil are only the things that are within my control, and anything that's outside of my control is neither good nor evil. And so then now this is a recipe for how I go through life, because I'm constantly looking at things outside of my control and saying, that's good, that's bad, that's good, that's bad. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, no, that's neither good nor bad. That just happened out there. It's outside of my controls, aka reasoned choice. And what's actually good or bad, what I should spend my time thinking about, judging and saying, this is good, this is bad, and sorting through that, is the stuff that I have control over, my reasoned choice, which is like my point of view. Is this point of view good or bad? Is this, the words that I'm saying right now, good or bad? Is my behavior in the world good or bad? And so that's what I should spend my time focusing on, evaluating the goodness or the badness of it, rather than me going out into the world and looking at everything outside and being like, well, this is shitty and that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm getting from what he's saying, but I don't know if this is what he's like driving at exactly, because this is supposing that reasoned choice means what I think it means, which is the control angle of like, this is in my control and that's not in my control. And this is how I know where it's valuable to judge the goodness or badness of something.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, so what? Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's?
Did your thing come back to you?
Not like not in the way that I can like
Articulate it?
or something. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's see if
it's not what you were saying.
Right.
But it's different. But it's I can see what you're saying. There's just the way we're talking about it. There's all these words of like inside, outside, my control. Like all of those words are they could mean so many different things. And so I'm like going through them, and I'm like, well, what do you mean by them? And versus like what they represent in me, and then like trying to connect it, and I'm having a hard time getting the whole point of it or something, because like the words that are being used are so like I don't know if we have the same understanding based on the definitions of the words that are being used, you know what I mean? So that's where I get like a little bit lost of like what I mean. She probably doesn't mean this, that word doesn't mean the same thing, or you know what I mean? It gets a little bit like I get a little bit lost in there, but it's totally fine.
We haven't done January, but I think January is like January 1st starts with control and choice. And so they start this whole journey by defining
so
what
maybe
exactly.
we didn't really start it at like some sort of a beginning. We kind of started kind of in a third.
Right. And so at this point, there's like the assumption that like I know what is within my control and what is not within my control.
Yeah.
And then we're like building on top of that.
Sure. So we are kind of going a little bit. Some of these things maybe don't make sense because we haven't read something that would have set me up to understand what this even means or something.
Right, because the Stoics have like that's such a foundational part of the philosophy is what is within my control and what is not within my control.
Right.
And getting very clear on the boundary of that. And so he's saying...
Which is what? Just the choice?
I don't know if every Stoic breaks it down into 3 things, but I've heard it broken down into 3 things. We have control over our point of view on something, how we look at something. And you and I have then talked about like, well, thoughts kind of come to us like the weather. But then there's something else in the system.
Like when I say choice, we have a choice over how we look at it.
Look at the thoughts that come through our head.
And I think that's really all we kind of have control over.
Right. So we have that. And then we have control over the words that come out of our mouths. And then we have control over our behavior in the world. And that's it. Yeah.
But see, and those 2 that you're saying, they are results of the first.
Yes. So that's why they start at the perception.
So I go like, we already don't have control over the action and what comes out of our mouths if that first thing
is
is
not in
ignored.
place.
The
Yes.
choice over which thought process and which view, and questioning, is there another view than just one view that I'm currently have? Oh, there could be more views. And then I'm saying, I now share this with my mouth and now I'm acting upon it. That's a result of me making that choice, and that's what I meant by choice over which option that comes to my head I choose to follow.
Yes.
And now once you get on that path, hopefully
Downstream,
these things,
the words and behavior.
actions and all that stuff happens the way how you're on that path. They're gonna
It's a
happen
reflection.
nicely or not
Yeah.
so nicely.
Exactly.
Right,
And
yeah.
that's what he's saying is good and evil is, if I'm not disciplined in how I'm perceiving these things, then the words, the downstream things, the words and the actions are going to be one way versus another. And he's saying, look at that and judge that as good and evil. And stop looking out there at, for example, other people's words and actions.
Yeah.
Stop looking at other people and saying they're good.
Because
or
they're
evil.
like what my original thing there, I kind of forgot, is like there was something about this, like there is no good and evil. So what are we talking about even, right? Because what is good and evil is already some sort of a prejudgment, like prejudice-y kind of thing that happens.
It
right?
is when you're looking out there and evaluating
Right,
other people.
right.
But if you're evaluating yourself, you can say, well, good is like when what I do produces good outcomes, like outcomes that I'm aligned with, and I'm like, yes, life is great. And evil is
but life is great is already, in my opinion, is already the good.
Yes.
It's good.
Yes,
and I'm saying that's already an opinion on the results of what happened, and you don't have control over that. You're judging that result, saying that's good. That result should just be, it is.
Well, he's saying
that result just happened, and I observed that result, and to me as this mind body person, that is a better result. So I want to act certain ways.
I want to keep doing
keep
that.
doing it. That makes total sense.
Right. That's what he's saying.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
and he's not. I mean, good or evil in this thing is like, it's one of those things that everybody has their own definition, and it feels differently in every person.
What is
and
good and evil?
It doesn't bother me. The phrasing doesn't bother me because I get what he's pointing at. I'm like, okay, I got it.
If you have these guiding principles, then good and evil essentially is living by the guiding principle equals good, living not by them equals evil, or something. If that's how somebody wants to draw some line in there, but even that's kind of a borderline, still there's this judgment on top of it, and they're saying don't judge because you don't know anything except these. Oh, this came here, it showed up, there are these choices, I can do this. Do I even have a choice? Did I caught that there are more options? Maybe sometimes I don't catch that. Maybe I'm convinced that there's just one option, and that one option is to get mad or get sad or get angry or excited, right?
Yeah.
But it's not. Maybe I missed that before the reaction to whatever happened. I maybe very rarely go, hold on, let's not react to it. Let's go through. Are there options? Oh wow, I could do it like this. Oh okay. The choosing to think about it more is also in our control. Mm-hmm. But that's hard to catch it. It's it's in my control, but it's it's always slipping from your hands or something. Yeah. So something in there.
Yeah. So then I think we are aligned. If that's your point of view on it.
We were aligned the entire time. It's just
the words.
It's just we
feel funky.
We are seeing it. You're seeing something in there, and I see other things in there, and both things are great. And so they're not aligned, so when you say now we're aligned, it's now we're thinking about the same thing, same way. No, I think that now we understand each other's point
that's
of view.
what I meant. I didn't mean to suggest we weren't aligned and now we are. I meant to suggest that we discovered we have been aligned, and what made it seem like we weren't was that different words mean different things to
Sure.
each of us, but the underlining meaning is the same.
It's we understand this. Yeah.
Okay.
In how we have similar understanding to it. Yeah.
And now we can see what Ryan's understanding is. All right. Here's what Ryan says. He says, today, as things happen and you find yourself wondering what they all mean, as you find yourself contemplating various decisions, remember, the right thing to do always comes from our reasoned choice. Not whether something is rewarded, not whether something will succeed, but whether it is the right choice. Epictetus's dictum helps us cut through all this with clarity and confidence. Is something good or bad? Is this right or wrong? Ignore everything else. Focus only on your choices. So he says the right thing to do always comes from our reasoned choice. Not whether something is rewarded, not whether something will succeed, but whether it is the right choice.
Yeah, so like reasoning is the questioning, the going through the options. That's the part of reasoning. What is it? Which one is it? Okay, and then one of those paths makes sense, and now you have some sort of a reason why you chose that path, because you went through these options and you said, this is the best. Now, this is the best out of the ones that I thought of.
Right.
Not all the best.
Yeah.
Just best of what came. And it's not that, and it's funny because then someone might say, well, nobody's perfect. Well, no, it's not nobody's perfect. No one has all of the thoughts.
No one has all the options.
No one has all the thoughts of our collective.
Right.
No, we all have just a little piece. Like we have 2 or 3, and then you have different 2 or 3, and maybe one is similar, but 2 might be completely different, and that should be celebrated, because then we're like, oh wow, we have these, versus like, oh, now we have an argument because your 2 ideas don't align exactly, and because that's this you bad or this, something, there's some weirdness there, right? Versus this like, hold on, those 3 thoughts that appeared to me in this same situation that we're all observing, but we're observing it from different point of views. Because we are observing it from different point of views, we all get different thoughts feed into us, because not only we're looking at it from different point of view, but we have different experiences, and every our one point of view is different from that angle, from moment to moment. So we have completely different experiences. Therefore, how the heck would we expect to get the same thoughts? No, of course we get different thoughts.
Right.
I get different thoughts, and yes, then we talk about it, and then we say, and then we reason and say, oh yeah, my 3 thoughts, only one of them was really like makes sense, and the other ones are kind of like, now I reasoned it out that they don't make sense. Okay, I'm moving on. If you understand this, if it's harder, if you not get it, then you feel bad. Oh, I feel bad. I was stupid. I'm stupid. I didn't do only one thing out of 3. Well, that's bad. I'm stupid. Now you're missing something, right? Now you're not understanding what actually is going on. When I say you, I mean me. So on.
Exactly.
I'm in the you world. I need to get out of the you world. I need to be coming into the me-I world. Yes.
Yeah, I like the thinking about it from the lens of how we are kind of like the receptors of thoughts. Like we receive the thoughts, and we're only receiving a subset of all possible thoughts. We would make the best choice ever if we had access to all possible thoughts. Because the best choice,
that would be so.
It would be like we wouldn't even be able to. We wouldn't survive it because our brains are not.
I think the options that are showing up are actually optimized to what we can actually process and handle. Because
yes, for each one of us in that moment.
Like,
I'm talking about like a hypothetical
maybe
thing.
Maybe Elon is getting
exactly. Well,
10,000 an hour.
I was thinking like, well, if we did Elon's chip, in our head, like maybe we would be able to handle more thoughts at one time, and we'd be able to be like, okay, that's the right choice right there. So it is interesting that like we can really only make the right choice based on the collection of thoughts that we have access to in any one moment. And so it's the right choice for us in this moment might not be the best choice ever in the universe of all possible choices that anyone could make. But it's the best choice that we could make right now.
It's the cards you got dealt with.
Yeah, it's the best choice I can handle right now. I can make right now, given all of the inputs.
Right.
The output is a reflection of the inputs, and so that's also.
And maybe, and that's funny to analogy, compare it to analogy with cards, because like sometimes you get good cards.
Yeah.
And then you have to fold them, like AKA. You will not say to anyone what cards you had. Therefore, you might get ideas, and they're good ideas, and sometimes you might not want to tell them to anybody, not just because like it's just not fitting or something. They might be great ideas. They're not gonna get you the good result. So you gotta fold them and be like, kill your darlings, aka these great ideas, right? Or great thoughts that you might be thinking these are great thoughts, but there might be some other level of game, like before I vocalize them, are these the right cards in this game to be using? That's that's another layer of
reasoning.
Of reasoning. Yeah.
And this is the school of thought that's trying to teach us how to be more reasonable, so that when we are going and behaving in the world, we are putting like the best version of ourselves or myself. Let me pull this back because I'm doing the we thing too, which is another way of distancing the whole thing from me. But it's really trying to teach me how to go out into the world and to be very selective about how I participate in this whole game.
Yeah. More selective versus the
reactive or
here are these cards. These are terrible.
Habitual, right? Like
or
trying to get me out of my habits of
all of that stuff. It's more like, okay, here's this thing. I gotta look at it. I gotta go through it. Oh, is this taking me too much of a time? Perhaps. Right? Perhaps it could be taking you a little longer to go through it at first, right? Because like we're not used to it.
Learning takes forever.
Learning to go through those steps and somehow like even having that process somehow incorporated in your daily interactions. Like that's the work to learn that game. But then it becomes like you just know what to do.
Once you learn it.
It's like the cards. Like, hey, now I get 2 aces. I know what to do. Like I'm not gonna be folding this right now, right? Let's say I might have to fold them, but maybe not now. Right? So anyway, cool, good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice. Sweet. Well, thank you so much for joining, and let us know how you understand today's lesson and what you're taking from it. And we'll see you here tomorrow.